With these combined sentences questions, I feel like I say this a lot, the main strategy is to predict the question. You need to know what they're really asking. Is this question testing ideas, grammar, or style? First and foremost, it is testing ideas. We need to make sure that when we combine the sentences, we are combining the ideas in a way that makes sense and that flows and is all good. And so there will be other things that creep in. Style sometimes creeps in. What's the shortest way to combine the ideas? But the thing that does not really creep in is grammar. I can't think of a single one of these where I had to get rid of a choice because of the grammar of the choice. So that's where people go wrong, and that's why they usually eliminate the right answer here, which is they think, oh, this is grammatically incorrect. No, these are all assume that they're grammatically correct, and even if one of them is not, hopefully, I think, it will be very obvious that it's not, but that's really not what they're testing. So we need to connect these ideas. And the worst, I shouldn't say worst, it's not even really a connection. The laziest, maybe, way to connect ideas is with a semicolon. So I think, let me just make sure, this isn't quite the same. The events dismayed Simone, that part's the same. In 1964, they switched she to Simone, wrote and performed her first protest. So there's really just two differences between what is written originally and choice B. And the one that I'm most interested in is the semicolon. A semicolon, grammatically, for the SAT, is a period. It needs a complete sentence beforehand. It needs a complete sentence after. Again, the grammar's fine. There's no reason we couldn't use a semicolon here. But in terms of connecting ideas, it doesn't actually combine the sentences. Yeah, it gets rid of the capital letter, but it's really just a period. So all we've done is swapped out one kind of non-connection punctuation mark for another. So this is not going to be an effective way to combine them. Doesn't mean it's always wrong, but if there's a bunch of choices and the others kind of are okay, the semicolon is usually going to be the most obvious one to get rid of. It doesn't really connect the ideas. They're still separate ideas with just a new punctuation mark in between. So this is a weak connection. We don't like weak connections here. Now we get into a little bit of style. I think that what happens here is people really do not like the way that A sounds. I personally don't really know why, because to me, A is kind of like the best sounding choice here because it all flows. Let me try to use a highlighter here. The events so dismayed Simone that in 1964 she wrote and performed her first protest song to express her anguish. It's all one big connecting idea. Combining sentences, right? Combining ideas. It all just kind of goes together. Whereas look at C. It's got this, kind of ricketiness to the sentence. The events, to her dismay, caused her, in 1964, to write and perform her first protest song to express her anguish. Kind of like, just like all over the place. I don't know. I don't really like it. It sounds to me like we're kind of moving back and forth between different ideas, and punctuation has its place to play, has its role to play in these combined sentences questions. It's not always wrong that commas are bad, but if we have a choice between like a bunch of commas and no commas, probably the no commas is better because a comma is an interruption. It shows us a break in our thought, a break in our sentence. And so do we really want to insert two breaks when there was only one to start with? It seems like we're going backwards here. So that's the same problem with D. The events dismaying her caused her in 1964 to write and perform her first protest song to express her anguish. And I get that, yeah, I'm cheating a little bit because A also has the in64 there. So I'm cheating a little there, but notice maybe there's one break with the in 1964 feeling like a little bit of an insert, but the other piece is not in choice A, but yet it's in both C and D. We have this kind of random interruption to the flow of the sentence, this break in the ideas, and we don't really want that. So A is right because the ideas are truly being combined. It's even hard for me to tell anymore that this was once two sentences, right? I think that's ultimately the goal, is we want to look back on our answer and say, yeah, this is just one idea now, one sentence. Whereas C and D still feel like we're kind of like a Frankenstein monster, combining these ideas and stitching them together and hoping it stays put. Um, it's hard. Combined sentences questions are hard, but the idea behind predicting the question is that if we kind of can get in our brains the right things to care about, we're more likely to notice the right answer because we know what the SAT wants from us. It's not a clear instruction that the SAT is giving us, but we've done enough practice, hopefully, by this point that you kind of still know what the implied instruction is, and you can use that to sort through these choices and, yeah, hopefully find the right answer. It may not sound the best to you, it may not be what you write, but that's kind of common on these combined sentences. So you have to get used to that and just focus on the ideas. Make sure they flow together.